Yeah. You chose sort of a uniform brightness for your pictures. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. I sort of decided to light it this way for, well, the reason would be also the same way that I chose to photograph in general this way. As I started the project, I was thinking, God, wouldn't it be cool if I could photograph all 1,500 people in the community? And I knew that that was impossible, but it still was like a great goal for me to start out with. And so to do that, I started photographing people against a neutral background, thinking I could just, quick pop off all the pictures and have it done. And then this was on the first visit that I was there, and I came home and I went through all the film, and there were some pictures that I really loved, but I realized that what was missing with the neutral background is all of these cultural signifiers. So all of the things that people had in their homes, or the way they chose to decorate the space, or the little small things that might signify that they're Jewish or that they're Finnish or European in general, those were missing. And so I really knew that I needed to get into their personal environments and kind of incorporate those into there. So the choice of lighting was due to that as well. I really wanted it to be kind of clean and evenly lit so that you, as a viewer, would be able to spend time with the images and see all the details, so that it wasn't, dramatic lighting with dark shadows that would make it hard for you to see the spaces. So, yeah.
What was the reaction or the response from this community as being part of this project, or after you had completed? Maybe it's never complete, but you know what I mean. And then did you share it with them, I imagine, and what was their response to it?
Well, it started off interestingly. When I was trying to begin the project, I was investigating actually Finnish Jews in the States that I could find, because I was thinking, wow, this is such a unique heritage that I have, this mixture of both cultures, and I didn't know anyone else except my siblings who were Finnish and Jewish. So I found one family in Minnesota where I grew up and one in New York, and I got stuck, and so I went to Finland, and in doing it I just did some research online first, and I found the name of the executive director of the synagogue in Helsinki, and his last name was Cantor, and which, when I wrote him, I didn't really address that we shared the same last name. I thought, well, it's common enough, and it turned out that his mother's name was Dina as well, and she had passed away 10 years earlier, so he got an email from his mother. So I'm sure that was a bit of a surprise at first, but it's strange. Like, actually sharing the name with her was an interesting connection, and his whole family and everyone in the community who knew her and loved her sort of felt a connection to me because of that, which I was willing to, to use that as a way to talk to them. And but in the beginning it was a little harder to get started, because I don't think everybody knew how serious I was, and in my head I was so serious about it, and I wanted all of these shoots planned from before I even flew there the first time, that I wanted 10 a day scheduled and ready to go, and people didn't really know who I was and what was going on at that point. So once they started to meet me, it kind of snowballed, and I would call people and they'd say, wow, I was wondering when you were going to call me, and why haven't you called me yet? And someone was like, my uncle has been so sad that you haven't called. And so everybody did start to really get excited about being part of the project, and of course, there were a few people who didn't want to be photographed, and I completely respect that, and I hate being in front of the camera myself. So everyone was pretty welcoming and excited about it, and there were people who were like, why do you want to photograph us? I mean, what's so exciting? And I think I was very open from the beginning and explained my genuine interest in the community, and so people were willing to participate, and I was very clear in the beginning what I wanted to do with the images, that I wanted to be able to exhibit it in places and share it with others, and to hopefully publish a book one day, and to have it out there so they knew where it was going to be. And I also make it a point to give them prints of the pictures so that they have them as well. So they all have these images and many others at home, and once I do publish a book, I'll make sure they have it, and we'll donate it to the Finnish National Archives and things like that. So,
to what extent did they appreciate their uniqueness in that culture?
I guess that's hard for me to answer, because I'm coming from my perspective, but I think they knew that they were sort of that they were part of a special community, and I do think it's not like I was talking to the class this morning, but it's not like they just hang out with themselves, and they're not, part of regular Finnish culture. Most people, work outside of the community, and there are definitely plenty of people in Finland who don't know that there's a Finnish community there. So they are, regular Finns like everybody else, but I think they do feel that the Jewish community is kind of a special thing that they have. That's theirs.
I imagine, especially those who practice and maintain the faith.
Definitely.